And in our top stories tonight, Mark Lawdon's decline to defend gay bill. COSASE members oppose government payment of 380 billion shillings. And the Section 5 and 10 of the Public Order Management Act 2013 annulled. Good evening once again and welcome to a first edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Muhammad Mugalun's sign language interpretation. Now we start off this newscast with Makere University Law Dons led by Dr. Businje Kabumba in company of select non-government organizations have asked government to implement available laws that protect culture than pursuing the Anti-Homosexuality Bill in the offing. Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Legal Affairs to avail their opinions, activists deviated from the new proposed enactment. Take a look.
Several groups continue to shed opinions and making submissions on the proposed Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023 that is currently before the Parliamentary Committee on Legal Affairs for scrutiny before it's tabled on the floor of Parliament. A group of activists and human rights defenders, including Don Businje Kabumba from Makere University School of Law, interfaced with the committee.
My conclusion, you said I left you hanging, is that this law is unnecessary because there are various policies and procedures within which to safeguard.
They found it important to add free and democratic society, meaning that as we speak now, Uganda is a liberal democracy. It is not just a question of the ayes have it, 95%. It's a question as to whether the legislation is consistent with the values of liberty.
In his submission, Businje stated that the proposed anti-homosexuality bill is more of a danger and scare to a certain section of Ugandans. He states that the law is more of an impediment to enjoyment of the International Bill of Rights.
Let's not make assumptions that simply because someone disagrees with me, somehow they've been bold. I cannot be afforded by anyone. I am Businje Kabumba, I'm an African, I'm an Ugandan. I said I'm a father, I'm a Muchiga. I'm here to say what I feel, what I know, and no one will stop me from saying it.
Bufumbira East MP Sababuturo says a cluster of activists and human rights defenders are seeking refuge behind the enjoyment of human rights to support a cultural deviation for their own interests. The committee centered its concerns on the fast-moving agenda by proponents of LGBTQ movement geared at deviating the minor population from cherishing their cultural values. The controversial deterrent legislation before Parliament seeks to protect children who are prime targets in the 21st century technological era, peddling the vice.
That Ugandans must have standards. Like you have standards in your home, and children grow up knowing their do's and don'ts. If you do wrong, you get punished. Those standards must be there.
The shades of opinions across the political spectrum turned into a cold boxy war, with MPs accusing Lawdons and activists from the NGO forum of bowing to donor pressure for monetary gains.
Who clearly are under the control of homosexual forces, and they want us to do the same. We must be careful that because it's happening there, we too should succumb to that pressure. We must have our standards and our values.
Why do homosexual men express love in public?
Professor Sylvia Tamale, a former lecturer at Makere University School of Law, in her submission told the committee that homosexuality has been in Africa for a long time, playing down the argument that the whites are trying to introduce carnal conjugal obligations on the continent. Tamale alleged that the bill in question, once it comes into law, is likely to be used against innocent people, especially those in the limelight of key political positions.
It's a very, very specific kind of law that whipping up hatred is what it is doing. And you may say that, we cannot legislate, we cannot stop legislating simply because the law may affect us one day.
During his address to Parliament on Thursday, President Yoweri Museveni retaliated that he is not ready to support a vice that was not created by nature.
We shall discuss it thoroughly. The Western countries should stop wasting the time of humanity by trying to impose their practices on other peoples.
Story compiled by Susan Nawonga for UBC News.
Now, interfaith clergy and schools in Fort Portal Tourism City have staged a peaceful demonstration protesting homosexuality and other immoral practices in the country. Now, the clergy, under their campaign codenamed Fort Portal for Jesus Prayer, staged a peaceful demonstration, walking and urging citizens to desist from financial-related temptations that can lead them into homosexuality.
Students and clergy first gathered at Buhinga grounds and marched through Fort Portal City carrying placards and flags with the aid of traffic police and UPDF band. The placards read, "Homosexuality is a sin. Team no to homosexuality. Uganda against homosexuality." Fort Portal says no to homosexuality. Abatoro tetulia bisiaga, among others. Bishop Robert Muhirwa, the Bishop of Fort Portal Diocese, cautioned students to be contented with the little they have to avoid homosexuality.
So we have to say no to such evil money. At least we sleep hungry without feeding on evil money. So we have to be contented. So that we say no to those bad manners into our schools. When you engage in such morals, they will take away your education. And you keep on thinking immorality.
Bishop Ruben of Resort Diocese said the fight against homosexuality should also focus on the evil practices, including theft, corruption, murder, and among others.
Avoid premarital sex. Avoid early pregnancies. Early marriages. They can observe sexual purity. Avoidance of homosexuality is observing sexual purity of all forms.
In Fort Portal, all stakeholders, including leaders, parents, and clergy, have come together to fight homosexuality through conducting sensitization campaigns in schools and in public gatherings.
Join me, join the world, join the president, join parliament, join the first lady. We are at the forefront of fighting homosexuality in Uganda.
We totally disagree with homosexual and no room for it. So that's what I told the students and the teachers. So
our dear brother, we are here to say no to homosexuality.
The Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises has objected the government move to pay city tycoon Bosco Muonge 380 billion shillings over a 10-acre piece of land in Chisenyi to accommodate street vendors and hawkers loitering in the streets of Kampala. During a familiarization tour of different assets disposed of wrongly and queried in the Auditor General's report to Parliament of 2021-2022, the chairperson of COSASE, Joel Senyoni, appealed to KCCA to follow lawful procedures to halt negotiations that seek to have public land sold to an individual at the expense of a taxpayer.
A fortnight back, the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises started probing KCCA on a number of queries reflected in the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2021-2022. Top among issues queried by the Auditor General was the management of land under KCCA. The Auditor General's report indicates that some of the land owned by KCCA had no titles. Plot 71 at Nkrumah Road, queried in the Auditor General's report as having been acquired fraudulently, was the first stopover of COSASE committee members during the familiarization tour that had KCCA officials on board. The Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Dorothy Chisaka, was also present to ascertain whether Securex Amenities Limited still lives to what was agreed on in 2010 upon granting it lease of the said property by Uganda Land Commission.
To the place that was supposed to be a health center. It's also very unfair. We waited for Ntaganda. He didn't appear in the committee. We are still waiting for him. We want to hear from him why he went away from the agreement.
The chairperson, COSASE Joel, revealed that Securex Amenities Limited was given a lease before it would be registered according to documents from Uganda Registration Services Bureau that formed the first illegality committed in the transaction. What is on ground is a business arcade with few parking slots, contradicting the lease agreement.
Now, the entire of it is a private facility. And yet in the lease agreement, however problematic the lease agreement was, they said, number one, 2 floors will be left for a health center for KCC. As you can see, the entire structure now is a private facility. And then the lease ceased to be. Of course, they also said they would provide adequate parking, lots of parking. As you have seen, there's just 17 parking slots.
The Executive Director, KCCA Dorothy Chisaka, pledged to undertake full responsibility to reach the logical conclusion on how the queried land transaction was made, but sought for committee support in the undertaking.
We must uncover the rot which is there and put the city in order. We cannot condone a fraud. We cannot condone something which is not right.
The next destination for the probing team was in Chisenyi, where KCCA had allocated a 10-acre piece of land to vendors and hawkers who had become a menace in the streets of Kampala. The market is already occupied with vendors dealing in different commodities, ranging from food, vegetables and clothes. However, the committee was shocked to learn that city tycoon John Bosco Muwonge is demanding for Uganda shillings 380 billion from government to offer the land to KCCA.
At 380 billion shillings, we can use part of it to buy this property for the vendors and use another part of that money to build a good market for them. Because right now, you see their market structures, tarpaulin and all of that. When it rains, they cannot operate properly here.
It's okay for the traders to have space to do their work, but it is not okay to buy this space very expensively.
Despite the bloated sum of money put by city tycoon for any willing buyer, Chisaka says negotiations to reach a final deal are underway.
Is the seller willing? Yes. Is the price agreeable? Not yet. So that's where we are. The issue is that the trading space must be got and we settle our vendors. So there is no debate about that. We are agreed with the parliamentarians. With regard to value, government has processes of determining value, and government wants value for money. So we cannot buy something which is exorbitantly priced.
While the land deal seems to be lucrative, a document spelling out contestation about the ownership of this piece of land by John Bosco Muwonge was adduced. The mayor, Kampala Central Division Salimu Uhuru, was not in agreement with the adduced document, saying the Buganda Land Board has not expressed any reservations about the said land.
Have you seen Buganda complaining? Because the mother title is under Buganda. Buganda is not complaining, so who else is complaining?
In another development, construction works along the Rubiji water channel have stalled due to land contestations following alleged claims of ownership by 27 people demanding for compensation.
Challenge with some of the people who are making claims. And when a person makes claim on a place that you are working on, you have to first settle that claim before you finish the construction.
Which should be one of the major catchment areas. Work has stalled for quite a bit of time, as they have explained to us. And so we are telling them engage as quickly as you can with whoever, communities and all of that, you know, it should not be an impossibility.
The team also toured Mulago Cancer Institute Road to understand why the cost of a road is too high. This project of 1.78 kilometers of road cost 8.5 billion shillings. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Kampala.
The youth have been advised to resist the temptation of falling for homosexuality, for it's not only ungodly but unhealthy. The youth were cautioned against thirsting for quick money following reports that money is the driving factor into the recruitment of young into homosexuality.
Makere University Business School has held her 16th graduation with 1,141 graduating with diplomas and certificates in different disciplines. Officiating at this year's graduation was the Vice-Chancellor of Makere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe.
I congratulate the person who has been presented on being awarded the Uganda Diploma in Hotel and Institutional Catering of Makere University.
In his remarks, Professor Nawangwe lauded the institution for the timeless efforts geared at skilling the youth for the fast-changing job sector. According to Professor Nawangwe, MUBS is the best business school in Africa, a status that has greatly impacted Makere University's international ranking.
In the 25 years of its existence, MUBS has turned out to be the best business school in Africa, and it has tremendously contributed to Makere's international brand. So, if it is acknowledged now that Makere is the best black university on earth, part of that has been contributed by MUBS.
Earlier, the principal, Makere University Business School, Professor Waswabarunywa, cautioned parents on the fast-spreading homosexuality vice, noting that those promoting it are using a lot of money, which is a pull factor for the youth.
I say to people, if you have a natural orientation for being attracted to the same sex, please go ahead. That's your problem. But do not force others to do it. There are people who are forcing students, giving them fees to go and have homosexual acts. Please. This can cause permanent damage to you, not only in your intestines and in your anus, but also mentally. So, as you graduate, please remember this. Remember this. Homosexuality, lesbianism is being practiced by many people, but should not be free.
This, in a way, set the pace for other speakers.
In his design, God was so smart, and he made sure everything that matters is on the front side. Your eyes, your organs. There is only one organ behind. With the exception of tractors and a few lorries, even engineers have ensured that the exhaust of a car is where? And you are the one who wants to turn a one-way exit into a dual carriage.
Also discussed was the importance of scaling up the use of ICT in institutions of learning. According to Professor Balunywa, currently, MUBS runs 50% of her lessons online. For the last 25 years, Makere University Business School has been offering a cocktail of diploma and certificate programs both at the Nakawa-based main campus and 4 regional branches situated in Arua, Mbarara, Jinja and Mbale. Docas Kimono, UBC TV News.
Thank you, Dorcas. Now, ever since the launch of the National Emergency Healthcare Services in 2021 by Ministry of Health, shortage of medical personnel, limited numbers of ambulances, among others, are among the issues hindering health service delivery in many of the referral hospitals across the country. The implementation of the policy remains on paper with no will to put it into practice.
Of the health facility across Acholi sub-region are operating on inadequate medical supply and ambulances to implement the policy.
We know Gulu district don't have ambulance, and the Gulu city, the ambulance also is down, so we call upon the donors, the well-wishers to support us with such good ambulances.
Beatrice Akelo, head of nursing at Gulu Regional Referral Hospital, expressed the need for capacity building from both government and development partners for the smooth implementation of the National Emergency Healthcare Policy.
The JICA provided us with equipment that we can use to respond to these emergencies. At the moment, they are still working. However, the challenge that we have is, as a new unit, we have limited human resource on site. You might find only one nurse, and they will be overwhelmed with the 20 number of cases that are brought.
To reduce avoidable mortality, morbidity and disability in the country, the Associations of Ambulance Professionals, Uganda, has built the capacity of over 30 members of medical workers and traffic police officers in Acholi sub-region in providing safe and quick transportations of accident and natural disasters victims to the nearby health facility.
We collected all the people who work in the ambulances and emergency departments of health facilities, giving them and enhancing the skills of managing emergencies at the scene of the accident, but also how to stabilize them and giving care during transit to hospitals.
The simulation exercise with traffic police during the training was meant to demonstrate how police and the medical personnel can work together to safely evacuate the accident victims from the scene without losing life.
Need to know how stable they are, need to know if we have intervened in all the things that are taking their life even before transporting them. So please give us a bit of time, be confident in us because we know what we do, and then let these patients be helped.
The National Emergency Policy is one of the tools brought on board by Ministry of Health to streamline the emergency response services by providing safe and quick transportation of the sick to the hospital. Stephen Okello, reporting for UBC TV in Gulu City.
Thank you, Stephen Okello. Now, the Deputy Secretary General National Resistance Movement has commended the NRM Canada chapter for the great work and initiative in promoting the party agenda in the diaspora. Now, this was during a meeting with the chairperson, NRM Canada chapter, Fred Chinene, together with Abi Walusimbi, a senior presidential advisor on diaspora affairs.
Events that bring together Ugandans in Canada to understand what goes on in our country, in Uganda, in their country, and also to understand the opportunities that are available for them, either to invest or to participate in activities at home. Because this is a global village, somebody can be in Canada but also participate in activities at home. And also the Ugandans that go there to learn more about what opportunities are in Canada and elsewhere in the country. So we want to thank you for this, and as a secretariat we shall also be there and participate in the event.
Which is different from the other one because we had changes of venues last time. We did not even have the venue location at times because we had fear of some hooliganism and all those things. But this year we are already geared up. We are the majority. We discovered that we are the majority. After discovering that we are the majority, we have the address on there in Brampton, and then we have everything put into place that this year the organizing committee is led by, which is led by Honorable Nakadama, will work tirelessly to make this event come out good. Second one, NRM Symposium 2023. we really want to have a connection with home. And the first connection you would have for NRM is the Secretariat. So we had to come and meet her in person so that we know the person who is leading the delegation this year. And then we had to iron out some few things, this and that. But she was so jolly and so very helpful. We managed to get whatever we wanted this evening.
Government has pledged to continue supporting universal education by ensuring each sub-county and parish has a secondary school and a primary school, as some still lack schools. State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, says that early childhood education is the next focus away from UPE and USE. Muyingo was speaking at Kololo Independence Ground during a function to celebrate 25 years of universal education that started in 1997.
We are here on behalf of all children in UPE schools in Uganda.
Universal education is 25 years old. Celebrations have been characterized by drama presentations from various schools. Literacy rate in Uganda is at 75% due to universal primary education. Government pledges to continue supporting the program by ensuring each sub-county and parish has a primary and secondary school.
To ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and the promotion of lifelong learning opportunities for all Ugandans through universal primary education.
In a bid to ensure a strong education foundation, government is now designing a framework for early childhood education.
We also, as government, invest in early childhood education. That's what you call nursery, kindergarten. What we have started doing is to come up with a framework that is followed by all those who are handling our children at that level.
Senior Presidential Advisor on Political Affairs, Dr. Rugunda, emphasizes the need to skill learners for job creation. Rugunda was representing the President at the celebrations.
This is the solution to the challenge of unemployment, especially among the young people. Government will continue to prioritize the teaching of science subjects and vocational skills.
Some of the UPE and USE schools have since dilapidated. Now, government wants to renovate the school structures as one way to easing access to quality education.
Government is committed to ensure that there are enough schools in the country for the Ugandans. We are also committed to revamp, rehabilitate, renovate all our old dilapidated schools wherever they are in the country. We have a plan for it and we are moving with it, we are following that plan.
Marian Wumcha, UBC News.
Uganda Wildlife Authority has flagged off the first batch of cobs to be translocated from Kabwoya Wildlife Reserve to Kidepo National Park. The translocation aims at, among others, depopulating cobs from a wildlife reserve and reducing human-wildlife conflict, which are increasingly overwhelming. We have details in this report.
Following the increasing number of cobs in Kabwoya Wildlife Reserve, Uganda Wildlife Authority has translocated 35 cobs from the reserve to Kidepo National Park as a way of depopulating them and having multiple species in one protected area for special conservation purpose.
We need to pick again another population from here so that we don't do inbreeding. Because when you have a same gene multiplying over time, you start getting lambs, you start getting the sick, you start getting very bad genes multiplying. And that's why we are picking now from Kabwoya, so that we can go and mix those ones which came from Murchison with those ones which are coming from Kabwoya to make a good what? A good breed.
According to John Makombo, the Conservation Director, Uganda Wildlife Authority, some of the best tourism products like lions had dwindled in numbers, largely because of lack of flesh to feed on. He believes that the translocation of 200 cobs in Kidepo National Park will increase the number of lions.
We have got a population of lions that is actually going down in Kidepo, but we need to save it. And by saving it, we need to take a species of animal that can multiply very fast and a species of animal that the lions can actually feed on. So this is one of the reasons also to save the population of the lion in Kidepo.
Human-wildlife conflicts, especially in protected area neighborhoods, have recently been rampant, an issue Bashir Hanji, the public relations manager, Uganda Wildlife Authority, said will be consequently resolved.
We will see more food for the lions inside the park, and because of that, the rate at which lions go outside the park to go and kill people's livestock will reduce significantly. So the translocation of the cobs from here, Kawoya Wildlife Reserve, to Kidepo Valley National Park will definitely help us also in one or another to address the issue of human-wildlife conflict.
The translocation of 200 cobs from Kaboya Wildlife Reserve to Kidepo National Park comes at a time when cases of human-wildlife conflicts are increasing. Now, the 2 weeks exercise is intended not only to curb the vice, but also restore ecosystem for tourism. Joshua Kagoro, UBC at Kaboya Wildlife Reserve.
Joshua Kagoro right there, thank you. Kayunga local government has organized an exhibition codenamed Microscale Irrigation program aimed at bringing together farmers, financial institutions and suppliers to forge a way forward for agricultural producers. Through the Microscale Irrigation program, government helps farmers to pay for irrigation equipment matching grant scheme, where the cost of the equipment is co-financed by the farmer and the government.
Over 600 smallholder farmers in Kayunga district are to benefit from the microscale irrigation program that will enable them to channel water from the water bodies to crops using pumps. Kayunga local district organized an exhibition to bring farmers and agricultural stakeholders together to showcase different irrigation technologies under a government-aided program codenamed UGIFT Microscale Irrigation. The program is aimed at increasing agricultural productivity through promotions of irrigation technologies where smallholder farmers transit from subsistence to commercial farming.
In our first year, that is 2020-2021, we were registering farmers. We registered over 600 farmers. In our second year, we were installing for those farmers, and also third year we are installing for farmers who are making their co-payment, and we install for them. So far we have 17 farmers who have been installed with their systems. 17 have the system already installed, so which means there are 17 from 32, that is 25 farmers are going to be installed this financial year, and they have already made their co-payment. We're just in the process of the installation right now.
Kayunga lies in the cattle corridor, which means our farmers have been experiencing a lot of drought. But with this microscale irrigation scheme, it has really helped farmers, whom we call model farmers, to show that at least if people can embrace irrigation, then life will have to change for better. Life will have to change for better.
A senior agriculture engineer revealed that the program is sluggish due to some challenges.
Our farmers, most of them, they don't qualify to get these loans, which would have enabled them to get the equipment they really want. Those who would like to pay in installments, the program does not allow to pay in installments. I think those are the main major issues we are having that have kind of delayed the program.
Some of the smallholder farmers are convinced that they'll be able to produce agricultural produce even during the dry spell.
Our seasons have changed. We need people to cope up with some
mechanization on their farms. Though they are small, they can start with the little they have. But I have benefited, and I'm calling up other farmers to join us.
Season, I got around 5 million in the farming. But now I call the small farmers to join me so that we can change the condition of not waiting rain, but we start earlier.
With the micro-scale irrigation, the government pays between 25% to 75% of the total cost of irrigation equipment, but with a maximum contribution of 7.2 million shillings per acre. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after the messages.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom Voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the World Bank will host a public launch and dissemination of the Public Investment Financing Strategy, PIFS, on Tuesday, 21st of March, 2023 at Sheraton Hotel, Kampala. The guest of honor will be the Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Matia Kasaija. The PIFS aims to establish robust and sustainable financing mechanisms for the achievement of the Third National Development Plan by involving alignment of financing options to suitable government programs, minimizing the cost and risk exposure of financing modalities, and leveraging additional financing from traditional and other innovative sources to meet the increasing development requirements. It also provides a framework for partnerships with the private sector in implementation and financing of the public investment programs. The launch will provide a platform for stakeholders including high-level government officials, development partners, civil society, and the private sector to engage and discuss how to successfully implement the PIFS and achieve its objectives. The event will be a hybrid with an in-person attendance by invitation. All other participants are invited via Zoom and live on NBS television. For more information and to confirm your participation, please contact the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're descending into Entebbe Airport. For those proceeding to Kampala City, the biggest event in East Africa is in town.
That's right, the East African Business Expo 2023 is happening from the 23rd to the 26th of March at Kololo Grounds. Join us to network, connect, and grow. Contact us for exhibition or sponsorship opportunities. The 14th East African Procurement Forum and Business Expo 2023 is hosted by PPDA.
Now sit back and relax. It's time to explore great business opportunities.
Jerry Con! Jerry
Jerry card. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Banjay can with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa. Best movies I teach you. When I go to Microscale, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, wait. Jerry card.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100 *10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100 *10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100 *10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Public procurement players and the business community across the East African region will converge at Kololo Independence Ground for the annual EAC Procurement Forum. The event, which is open to the public, is geared at further integrating and growing the procurement market.
Uganda is set to host the East African Community Procurement Forum in the capital Kampala from the 23rd to 26th of March this year. Unlike the previous annual events that converged public procurement players, this edition will feature a business expo that is expected to attract 500 exhibitors.
Business community will have stores to display their opportunities, but they also have an opportunity to engage with government officials who will have stores. For example, how do I register business with URSB? How do I register an EGP with PPDA? How do I ensure tax compliance with URA? How do I, what are the payment requirements?
According to Benson Turamia, the Executive Director, Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, PPDA, the procurement forum under the theme Open Contracting as a Vehicle for Sustainable Development comes at a time when the region has a new member and the procurement sector is fast adopting new technologies for better service delivery.
I think it is an opportunity for this country to expand our export promotion and also expand the business partners that we are working with in the region. We are privileged that this idea has again come for the first time, and it is going to happen in Uganda.
The East African Community Region Procurement Regulatory Authorities oversee over 200,000 suppliers with a combined procurement market estimated at over US$ 100 million annually.
This is very important for the business community, but also important is that we are going to display the procurement plans, the national procurement plan, so that you come, because these entities all submit their procurement plans to PPDA. So we'll have a consolidated, it is even online. So if you want to go to MAIF, search MAIF, Minister of Agriculture, what do they have with this financial year? Is there an opportunity that I can do business there?
The 4-day event at Kololo Independence Grounds will have exhibitions, panel sessions, networking events, and cultural exchanges, all with the goal of connecting and growing the procurement market in the East African region. Dennis Igor for UBC Business.
Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board have developed a modularized assessment guide for agricultural sciences programs to increase flexibility in learning. Representing the Executive Secretary, UBITEB, Nasaza Jalia, a manager in charge of vocational education, said UBITEB board rolled out modularized assessments last year for programs offered by Uganda polytechnics and technical institutes across the country. We have the details.
Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board have also developed modularized assessment guides for 25 technical and business humanities. These were developed with a lot of input from specialists and experts from the industry and experienced professionals from various training institutions.
So this is going to help us to have people study what they are interested in. It is going to increase on flexibility in learning, whereby someone can choose to come and study a specific package, go and work. If he so wishes to add on, can come back later and is able to complete.
The manager in charge of vocational education, Nasaza Jalia, says the feedback on the benefits of modularized assessment is very positive in enabling practical-oriented delivery and assessment of the competences for candidates.
When you complete a package, you're given your certificate of competence, and then when you study and complete all the packages in that program, you are able to be given a national diploma or a national certificate, then which can enable you to progress and go to another level.
The Deputy Principal, Bukalasa Agricultural College, Serwanga Ronald, says the modularized assessment is critical and in line with TVET reforms and the National Development Plan 3.
These are proven occupations which can enable a person to survive on that occupation. So against that one, when you pick such an occupation, you bring it and then design a training program. So that training program is called modularized. Modularized in a sense that, one, when you are offering the training, it should allow for somebody to come and pick some components of that training, and then after some time he's able to exit and go, and then he's also able to come back and pick. So the design is such a way that if you have a semester, like we have the systems here of a semester of 4 to 5 weeks, within that semester you plan some modules.
The team leader, Agricultural Colleges, Mwema Julia, said the training offer has a clear employment path.
The modular programs will take months, but right now we are still in the process of finalizing the content. So the content will tell us, but what we have is that for every course we are going to have 2 modules and 1 cross-cutting course every semester, and a semester is 4 months. But we are still developing the inner content. The inner content should be able to determine to us the extent to which, in terms of months, how many months each module will take.
Modularization, we have now got the answer, because you teach a trade that will lead someone to somewhere. He will be self-employed already.
On completion of the module, Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board will issue certificates of competence to all successful candidates, and the final award shall be obtained after successful completion of all modules in a particular program. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Public and private sector entities have committed to curb illicit trade in Uganda through engagement, awareness, legislation and enforcement. Besides causing revenue loss and exposing citizens to harmful products, illicit trade severely affects legitimate business sectors.
Poor enforcement, lack of awareness, porous borders, limited public and private sector collaboration, and the legal regime are blamed for the worsening state of illicit trade in Uganda. The private sector umbrella body and the tax-paying business entities are crying foul and want more active approaches spearheaded by government to stop the vice.
Illicit trade, whether it's in production, trade, distribution of goods, products, it's really a creeping danger to our economy. It is a threat to our health, it's a threat to our economy, it's a threat to our revenue, and it's a potential threat even to our security, because we do know that some people use illicit trade to raise resources, cleanse money, to be able to do bad things.
In a stakeholder dialogue in Kampala, key public and private sector entities aligned with trade committed to walk the talk in fighting illicit trade.
People are going blind because of illicit warages and jeans, which are made in very, very dangerous conditions. Now, the challenge is that interplay between ignorance, poverty, and disease comes at play. People are poor, so they are vulnerable to buying cheaper options. Because of ignorance, they are consuming things they don't know how harmful they are. And in the process, when your organs are destroyed, you spend more money in the hospital because of treatment.
Let us join hands. If I report someone that is doing a wrong thing, why dare you report me back? And you make me vulnerable. This is very dangerous. It is the work of public servants. You take a matter of people doing wrong things, you find them reporting you to the victims or to the suspects. This is very dangerous. People are killing, people are not taking anything because they know you are blocking their illicit trade. We should all sober up to know that we all deserve good service.
In Uganda, most of the illicit traders are informal and operate in non-gazetted areas such as buckets, homesteads, garages and godowns. According to Uganda National Bureau of Standards, their informality makes them untraceable and risky to consumers and to the economy.
In most cases, they do not meet the minimum quality standards, and therefore they are not fit for purpose, and therefore they have no value for money. So meaning that if you are going to be selling these products to people who are already poor, for these products that do not achieve the objective or satisfy their needs, and then you want them to frequently buy because they don't last longer, and then you are basically putting these people in the what? In the poverty cycles.
Recent statistics show that 65% of players in Uganda's alcohol industry are operating illegally. Some of these alcoholic beverages are linked to rampant debts, injuries, and visual impairment.
Illicit alcohol has grown at a rate of 9% every year for the last 5 years. That's the compounded aggregate growth rate, 9%, which means that every year, if we were producing about 1.2 million hectoliters as the legitimate people, what is 9? Call it, round it off to 10%. The other guys are growing faster than us. And they're growing faster than us, unchecked.
Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100 *10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100 *10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100 *10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the sports scene. FUFA Big League leaders Kitara Football Club has extended their lead to top the table after beating Kataka FC 2-0 at their home ground at Chigaya in Chikuwe district. We have more details.
Sam Simbwa, the head coach of Kitara FC, has shown mounted pressure, exhibiting readiness to maintain the top of the table in a 2-0 win against Kataka FC. The victory threw fans in frenzy moods as the team continues its title charge. Derek Biabatwezi from the bench put Kitara in the lead in the 73rd minute, while George Senkaba scored a winning goal in the 75th minute. With the win, Kitara moves to the top of the table with 43 points for the season, 4 clear from Police, who are in second place.
A bit more physical than us, but we had prepared well, we were up to the task, and we calculated well to win. Anytime we knew we could score, and that's what we did.
Other assistant coach of Kataka FC says all efforts are centered on ensuring the team is not relegated.
Ngenda kugamba nti terubadde lunaku lwaffe kyesobola kugamba nti olunaku terubadde lwaffe kuba tusobodde okukontaininga half time naye ekitundu ekyokubiri ebadde oba nandikiise nti abavubuka bange beerabidde kye nabagambye okola kyosobola kyolaba nti basobodde otuteeba naye nga bwe tuli omupiira nti omupiira gubaamu okugobewa ne gubaamu okukola tulo n'okuwininga, so tulina okuddayo tugende twetebereze geemu endala kuba tulina geemu ewaka.
And with that, we come to the end of this newscast, but do join us at 10 o'clock for our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto and Mohammed Mugalu on Sign Language Interpretation. We'll see you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 100 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers.